You guys are already flat earthers. How long have you been flat earthers?
About a year.
About a year. So you're very new, and you probably still have questions because I still have questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's kick it off and go right on in. So I'm Jennifer. This is
I'm
my
Max. Yep.
husband Max, and yeah, we've got Dave, and Dave's come on the show, or we've come on his show. I'm not sure, but we're hanging out and we're having a good time. And so yeah, I would say I'll be honest, like we've been waking up to a lot of things in the last several years, like a lot of folks have been. And I was kind of like, okay, I can believe a lot of things, but I'm not touching that one. This was almost very taboo. And like, we were almost kind of like,
We all
Well,
have
I was driving.
all have the same story. We're waking up to other things, New York, Connecticut, Boston, whatever. Flat Earth, not touching it. Now that you've
Right.
been in it a year, do you have any friends left?
oh yeah.
You know what?
Well,
That's one of the things. There's a few people at work. There's a few people who are flat earthers, and some people that aren't. And the one thing that's a little discouraging is that it's like you can't discuss it without people just getting angry. And really on both sides. I mean, people just think you're an absolute idiot if you even consider the idea that things are not the way that we've always been taught they were.
yeah, I don't think I care so much. I think people just think I'm crazy anyway. I give them a little more something to talk about on the way home with their spouse or somebody else, I guess. I don't really care.
Throw it to them as a question. Like, you obviously you think the Earth is a globe. Do you know why? And then that helps you refine your understanding because when they go, well, pictures, and then you bring up some pictures of Earth,
Yeah.
because there are no pictures.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, we've had some people get kind of frustrated, and we do our best. There's some good talking points that we've gotten down, and that's only because the more we've looked at it, the more it's like we've been in school the last year, and we've got your app, we watch a lot of your videos, and because we've not been taught the truth on so many levels. But this was one we held out for a long time, and then one weekend it happened where we were listening to another podcast, and I think you were being interviewed.
Yeah, I was driving home one day and I was listening to a podcast. You were talking with Jeff Fisher on chewing the fat, and I was just listening to it. And so none of it made sense because it's such a visual concept. So I thought you were an idiot. I thought you were a nut. And then when I actually went and watched the video, I was like, oh, wow, there's some validity
Yeah.
to what they're talking about.
And then I think the whole weekend we just watched one thing. Like, I think we spent an entire evening, and then the next day I don't even think we could think about anything until we got back to it. And then by that Monday, I was out trying to go to thrift stores, go to antique marts. I was looking for any older books that would possibly show the flat earth. Because I was trying to get back, late 1800s. So it was like I was on this journey. But yeah, some people family members, you just got to be, I don't know, not everybody's on board, but it feels exciting to know the truth. Biblically, I'm a Christian, so It makes a lot more sense to me. Yeah. So I love your presentation. I would just kind of like for you to kind of.
I think there are going to be a lot of people who watch this who are just now being introduced to the concept of it. So, I do have some questions towards the end of things that I still can't quite reconcile, but I'd love for you to.
The basics, right?
There you go. There you go.
And the basics are just so ridiculous. I go all over the place when I talk about it. You believe you live on a ball, okay? You believe that nothing. Here's the thing: globe believers don't even know what they believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing exploded and became everything, and then all the rocks started sticking together, and all of the gases from this nothing, so massive that instead of doing what gases always do all the time, which is violently fill the available space, these gases started to collapse upon themselves and create these gigantic burning nuclear furnaces because there's so much gas that has collapsed upon itself. Okay? I can't even say those words without like laughing at myself.
Yeah.
Because nowhere ever in any situation, under any circumstance, can you have gas that doesn't fill the available space. Okay.
Right, right,
So
right.
even if you got a tank and shrank the tank down to compress the gas and got the gas all compressed, as soon as you open that tank up, the gas is going to violently fill the available space. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So now we have that happens, and it leaves the rest of the available space as a vacuum. Okay. You can't have a vacuum. Okay.
Mhm.
You know, get a container, suck all the air out of it or some of the air out of it, and then open it and see if it remains empty. It just, the gases finally fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have a ball spinning with water on it, right? It's spinning.
Yeah. It makes sense because we've all seen it.
1,000 miles an hour, okay, at the equator, 1,000 miles an hour. People go, it's only going around once a day. If you on a merry-go-round that only went around once a day, but it was 1,000 miles an hour, you would crap yourself, okay? And you would die, actually. You would just be dead, and you would be thrown off of it, okay? It doesn't matter, right? Imagine going straight 1,000 miles an hour, okay? Now put a little curve to that where 1,000 miles, you're moving like a mile a minute sideways, okay? So that's not a straight line. So you got water on a spinning ball that lays flat, and air adjacent to a void. Okay, these are all impossibilities, but we were never taught that. Maybe we were, but we never put it together, right? No gravity, right? And so that's just absurdly ridiculous. And you know, I got accused by some high schoolers of, just because you don't understand it doesn't make it wrong. I understand. You don't understand. Adults don't, even professors don't understand, because they're so indoctrinated into the globe that they're like, well, it has to be because we live here and it's the globe. They're not entertaining the idea that maybe you were lied to when you were 2. Okay. And it's reinforced every single day for the rest of your life. Right. And so large bodies of water at rest need containment. And that containment is, you know, the edge of a bathtub, the edge of a lake, the edge of an ocean. The edge of an ocean is Antarctica, right? So I want to go one thing, going back to indoctrination, right? When I say you're indoctrinated from a young age, what show is this? Sesame Street. Okay.
There it is. I know. I love this scene.
Right here. A globe and a rocket in the fiction section. Now, why do they do that? Why do they do that?
They always have to put it out, like, right? Isn't there like this code? Like they have to tell you what they're doing so you can be like, hey, we told you it was a big lie.
No accident.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's no accident. But try telling that to a normie. I call people that are ignorant, which is not a bad word. It means you don't know. I'm ignorant to everything that I don't know about.
That's right.
Sure.
Okay. Ignorant is not an insult. Okay. I was ignorant to the flat earth because I didn't know about it. I was ignorant to the globe earth because I thought I knew about it, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
So large bodies of water at rest need containment. Well, Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Antarctica has the highest base level of all land on Earth. It's the container of our world.
Yeah.
What's here in the outer space? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe the mountains are literally the bottom of the firmament, right? And someone was the Eddie Flat Earth Banjo, and he was telling me, he gave me some papers on how oxygen freezes at a super low temperature. And at a certain point, when you're far enough from the sun, the oxygen becomes solid. And maybe that's the dome.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, love speculating what's out here. I think there's more land. I think there's more land out here that they're not telling us about. Another continent. Let's put another continent.
All right.
I agree. I think, and this goes back to my belief is the 4 corners of the earth. Like, I do believe that, I mean, I don't know what this, and I have heard people speculate about, we are a magnetic Earth. There's a magnetic field and magnets are square.
Right.
So I don't know how that would look with the firmament, but I do believe that there's got to be something outside of that. But then again, nobody's been able, or I don't know. I mean, maybe you need to tell us if there's some books or some other things we need to check out, if anybody has been able to go outside of that ice wall and gather intel.
I mean, there are books. There's there's a whole bunch. I have them. What happened to me? On my app. There I am. On my app, there in the book section, there's the Iron Republic. Have you seen that? Have you read that? Great book.
I haven't read it, but it's solid.
Very interesting. And it's on the Morgiles channel on YouTube. Just search the Iron Republic Morgile. He read it. It's like 5.5 hours. Great for a long drive.
Okay, cool. We'll check it out.
So, as I said, large bodies of water at rest lie flat. Is it lie or lay? It's lie, right?
Lie.
Okay. And so here we got a flat hallway. We got some lights, and this is what we see. This represents flat, and this is what we see. So, is there any curvature? I mean, I don't think so, right? And people are like, well, it's so big you can't tell, but they want us to believe we see boats going over the horizon. Bend this a little bit, you got a point light, flatten it out, and you get what we see in reality. So,
yeah,
right.
Right. And when you Google flat Earth, what do you get? You get this Flat Earth Society stuff. No flat earther believes it. So this is a flat Earth model, and Globers think that flat earthers believe this. Globers think that they live in a heliocentric model, and flat earthers think that the Earth is flat, the only flat planet. Okay, nobody thinks that, right? So they've given Globers a false binary. We're taught red pill, red blue, right? Republican, Democrat. You can vote for one or the other. Those are our only two choices, essentially. When you're given a situation, people look at it as red or black. Okay, as you have two choices, whether they're all balls or they're all flat. Okay, none of that is true. None of it's true, right? So, where's it going to go with that? The recently the India moon landing, right? Did you watch that?
Oh gosh, yes. Okay, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, honestly.
Well, so this is a Jedi mind trick that they did on us, okay? Right? They showed us this, right? So showing us the landing, all flat earthers like, this is what they're showing us? Now, we know this is animation. We also know that they know it's animation, and we also know that everybody watching it knows it's animation. But they're taking it as real data, okay? They're taking it as real data. So we all made our memes and we made our videos. And then, as predicted, the Globers come out and go, you flat earthers are so stupid. You think that they were presenting this as real footage, right?
No.
Right. And that's not on the show. Hold on. That was another one. This one. So they're like, you think they're showing us as real footage. Look how dumb you flat earthers now are. Now, somebody new to the conversation will look at that, hear the globe proponent, the NASA fanboy say that, and they're like, yeah, flat earthers are dumb. Of course this isn't real. But that person will never ask, where's the real footage? Well, there was no real footage. It landed on the south side of the moon. Okay. And look at all the people clapping. There's your evidence.
Oh my goodness.
Okay?
Right. It must be true.
Factors, people just brainwashed. Are they being fooled? I think most are being fooled, and a few
I agree.
People. I think even the prime minister is being fooled. I don't think he knows. I think he's just another puppet, just like we have puppets, right? So then later in the day or the next day, they show us the rover going down the ramp. Now I just say this is a briefcase wrapped in tinfoil, okay?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But this is a real video. Does this look more real than the landing? Yes, of course. It's a real video. So your mind goes, yeah, that was animation. This is real. Here's proof. This is real footage. Because they showed you the other extreme. So now if they started with this, you might go, That's a little fishy. That's
Yeah.
modelly looking. Then they'd
Mhm.
have to show you something better. But now, since they showed us 1970s Atari graphics garbage, they can show us this, and the NASA fanboys and even regular non-thinking people will be like, "There's some real footage," you know.
Mhm.
Forbid the camera looked out across the horizon and showed us the Earth or something.
Yeah, and then I have questions because I know, that NASA said that we lost the footage. So like, is this a transfer of power? Like, does India now get to go to the moon and America doesn't? Like, not that I believe any of it's real or true, but it's just interesting that they are now the ones with access to this secret knowledge that we lost. I mean,
We're way ahead of them. We've already been to the moon. We're going to Mars. We guys playing golf and
oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
70s. Okay, so what
Okay.
this does is people need slaves. If you have them behind bars and working in chains, they're not going to be happy. But if you have them
Mhm.
willingly working as slaves, like all of the world, all of America is, and most of the world,
Mhm. Mhm.
they don't know that they're slaves. And then you have to give them their victories, right? So they have your
Mhm.
sports teams, and you have your
Right.
patriotic, your servicemen, God bless them to support the country. And everyone's very patriotic. And this is a very patriotic event. 99, I did an interview with an Indian channel this morning where they translated everything I said. And
Mm.
he said 99% of the country is running around with flags, jumping up and down. We're on the moon. We're on the moon. Right. They're so happy they can't see through the deception.
Okay.
You have
Okay.
patriotism. Patriotism is emotion. Emotions trump logical thinking. Okay.
Mhm.
That's why they say never go to bed when you're angry with your partner, right?
Yeah.
Never go to bed.
Sure.
Solve it. Okay. Get the emotion
Right.
out of it. And that's what they do with a lot of these other events. I won't mention them because this is going to go on my YouTube channel, where they use
Sure.
children and they get everyone's emotions high so nobody can think.
Yes. That's good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting that like how they are now going to the moon. Like, so I didn't know what NASA was trying to say, because if we've lost the technology, like how are they, trying to, yeah. I
And
just don't know.
it's so provable that we never went to the moon, and it's
Mhm.
so, I mean, we have whistleblowers and all sorts of stuff, but people just don't want to face the deception. The deception's so big. You guys are
Mhm.
new. You're still in mourning. Like, holy crap, my entire life has been a lie. But once you
Mhm.
get through it, and you're probably pretty getting through it well, the world is much more interesting. The world is
Oh, totally.
fascinating.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about ever being bored again, right? Too much
Right.
cover. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, it's just the layers to it, and just to see, like, and I know you talk about it on here, just from an early age we're just taught, and we see it. And like we were just talking about the MTV Music Awards, being the astronaut, like just how it's in everything. So you would just never question whether we went to the moon or not, because why would you ever question something that's just shown to you all the time through all these different, programming? It's crazy.
right. And and then if you try to Google, fake moon landing, you get all the nonsense. You get all of the stuff where they all of the hit pieces. You won't find the stuff that I have on the app, right? This is the first step on the moon, right? This is Neil Armstrong. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of them, how far away is that camera? Because they're saying that he pulled a lever and an arm came out with a television camera on it that's filming him. Because
Yeah.
the question is, who's filming him? If he's the first man on the moon, that's like 20 feet away. That's some big arm.
Right.
Okay. He pulled a lever and a magical arm came out with a camera and started filming him. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's just well, and then make sure everybody has a television in their home, make sure everybody's watching, like,
Right.
and you play on the emotions. It just, you see how it's done. Okay.
So
Yeah.
this woman in pencil wrote all of the code, all of the telemetry data. She wrote all of the calculations for the moon landing in pencil. These are them. and they lost it. She wrote it in pencil, so it's not on backed up. It's in these books, and they lost the books. And she's the only one to do it. That's why they've lost it.
Oh my gosh.
That's literally a picture from NASA. Okay. And then, people love to ignore stuff like this, where we have this guy painting a perfect replica of the moon, and they got a camera track that goes around it, and a big projection globe, and, all of this stuff. This is, in NASA rents a lot of time at a green screen, the largest green screen warehouse in the world or something. But nobody wants to face it, right?
Yeah. Well, it can be quite frightening, to be honest with you. I mean, people are just kind of like we talked about. You're like, okay, I'll believe this is, that's fake. Okay. But this was a big one this is like the Santa Claus of all the red pills we've taken so far.
And on a landline, talk to the moon. I'm like, all right, got to the landline. It went over to the station, and it's beaming straight shot to the moon. Okay. You can.
Yeah, makes sense.
But we're told that all these cosmic rays and stuff from space that would kill us we're protected from the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, the ionosphere, the exos, and the magnetosphere. But a radio signal can go right through it. No problem. It'll stop everything else but a radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
It's ridiculous is what it is. It's so stupid. What else do I want to show you? Then we get a picture like this from Japan, right? And this was a solar eclipse, and that's right there on the Earth from the moon.
So that's kind of one of our big reasons for not jumping in as fast, because we're a conspiracy, only so many people can be in on it. So we were just like, there's no way. You've got these world governments. Everybody at some point would have to know. Now we understand not everybody, like those moon landings, probably the people that are sitting there, they probably don't know. But the fact that these world governments, everybody's, just putting out their own, and then Russia so that was really hard to kind of swallow at the beginning, to be honest with you.
The Cold War. How many people died in the Cold War between Russia and the US? How many battles were there?
Zero.
Is that the 666 you just made?
No. Oh gosh. No.
And
exposed.
And so people believe that all these countries are fighting each other, when in fact they're all working together. We have our CIA, Russia has the KGB, has the CCP. Guess who they all report to? Guess the agency that's above them?
The Illuminati,
NASA.
the Masons.
NASA.
Oh, wow.
NASA is not a space agency. They're in a world intelligence agency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So put it together, and we're supposed to believe, I don't know, 50,000 people work at NASA, maybe 5,000 people work at NASA, maybe 500 people. I don't know. Okay. But they're all, anyone who we've ever gotten in an interview, they said they don't know what the person next to them is doing. Everything is so compartmentalized. They don't know. And one of the guys that was in the control room during the lunar, he's old man, retired now, during the lunar missions, said that they practiced in simulations so many times. When the real thing happened, he couldn't tell the difference. So you're in the room, data is being fed to you, and they tell you it's a simulation. Then you're sitting in a room, data is being sent to you, and they tell you it's the real thing. What?
I have questions about that. Do some of these astronauts, honestly, I mean, are there ways that they've even tricked these astronauts to believe that somehow we're going to do these, simulations, like you said? And I've even thought, man, oh my gosh, did they get them outside of the ice wall? Is there space out there? I mean, because the sun, I've had those kind of thoughts. Do they really know, or are they in on it too, these astronauts?
I think most of them are in on it. I think Don Pettit might be the only one that thinks he went to space. I think that they can MK Ultra mind control them. I think there's a couple of guys I forget their names, but they're the ones that are like, oh, I can see the stars, the Magellanic stars, whatever his name is, right? I
Yeah.
think these guys are hypnotized because when you're hypnotized, you're given a set of memories, you're given a set of
Mhm.
parameters, and then you
Yeah.
work off of that. And so sometimes after time that programming breaks a little bit. So like, yeah, we can see the stars. Oh no, you can't see the stars. You can see them during the day. You can't see them during the day, right? So that
Yeah.
program breaks. So I think that they're not all liars, but I think
Okay.
I think the guys that went to the moon, their press conference was very, very telling. The NASA
Oh, right. Yeah, they're miserable.
guys are miserable. Like
Hmm.
maybe they were told at the last minute that they were faking it. Maybe they thought they were going. Okay.
Mm.
And then if you listen to some of their speeches, he's
Hmm.
like the layers of like he was talking to a high school kid. He goes, the layers of secrecy can be unveiled or whatever. Very cryptic stuff. But
Hmm.
you saw the Bart Sibrel whistleblower from NASA, the guy
Hmm.
that told that where the moon missions were filmed.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, very very compelling evidence, right? But these guys, they can't tell because they're not just sworn to secrecy, but it's like a really bad thing. They make it a way where they can't talk. And even the deathbed,
Sure.
and they can't do it because their siblings, their family, their loved ones will be the ones that
Mhm.
suffer, right?
Right.
So they make it, you can keep a secret, right? People say, well, they can't even keep a BJ a secret in the White House, right? That was something that was intentionally left out. That was a
Yeah.
psyop, to get
Hmm.
one distracted, and two, to get people to believe that you can't keep a secret.
Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, it's I mean, we've had those questions. We listened, I think Glenn Beck had one of the guys on. He's like the last astronaut that's still alive.
Story hour. That was like story hour. He asked
Yeah.
them nothing important. It was
Yeah.
literally a bunch of stories.
Yeah.
And then why did Glenn Beck be so respectful to him? Not that he should have been disrespectful, but pride, national pride. You got this old guy. Now that guy might believe he went to the moon. Okay.
I do question that. I'm like, does he really think? Because he's like, well, I couldn't really see the earth, but then I had to do my head, and it's just like, wouldn't that be the most phenomenal thing you've ever seen in your entire life?
Did say
He
something
just didn't seem excited about it.
exactly, but he did say some things that looked like they were meant to cover up. He's the one that said about the arm going out, right? Whether that was programmed into him or he was told to say that, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not that person, right?
Hmm.
They all have the astronauts have um, stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame
Hmm.
actor, right? I mean, is
Oh
that
my gosh, I never thought about that. What? Okay. It's just right there. Okay.
it's right there, right? And they're there and they know it. Buzz, the drunk, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen his face like during different ceremonies where he's like,
Yes.
"Front of Mars." He's like, "Oh boy," he rolls his eyes, but that's not proof
Mhm.
of anything other than highly suspect.
Yeah.
It is. It's just the layers to it are just, you just kind of keep looking at it. And the more you look at it, the more you're like, how could we even have ever thought we did go to the moon? And I remember being in Houston when the Challenger, blew up, with the teacher on it, right? That was a
Mhm.
Challenger mission. And I think it was almost like we all had the TVs in our classroom. Like it was purposefully like, we're going to just, I don't know, just traumatize all these people. So we'll be too afraid to, what do you have any thoughts on that? Cause I always thought that was so interesting. And then, I remember my mom was so sad that night crying. It was all over the news. The poor teacher that was on the mission, she died, and oh no, and oh no.
Did you
And
watch?
then you see this, right? And that blows my mind.
Did you watch Level with Me by
Yeah.
Hitler?
Mhm.
Yep.
So that's crazy. Like to think like we've got most of these people or they're twins, like,
There's
you
no
know,
records for the twins. There's there none of them showed up at the funerals of their siblings,
right.
right? Weird, little weird, or massively weird.
Yeah.
It's a lot weird.
Massive.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever in history a case where an identical twin dies and the other one doesn't show up and speak at the funeral, right? I'm willing to go on a limb and say it's never happened. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's stuff like that. Like the internet is it's not doing justice for this lie for sure.
You know, anything's on the internet. You're believing the internet. What's wrong with you, right? But when you start looking into the shuttle, none of it makes any sense. This thing weighs 4 million pounds. They tell us, right? You got
Mhm.
the liquid fuel booster and then the solid rocket booster, and they say when this lights, it can't be turned off. Okay, until it empties out. Okay, interesting, right? So this thing goes up, and I don't know if you noticed, but it was wobbling in the wind there. 4.5 pounds wobbling in the wind. Right? This is actually. So they always show it very close like this, right? And then I don't know if this is the one that's going to show you the whole thing, right? This is just a light show to me. All right, I went back to the beginning. I have another one for that. And it's just a light show, right? If you look, here's a shot down. This is blowing around in the wind. Okay.
Yeah.
This is filled with helium. This is just a big Macy's Day Parade balloon with some fireworks on the bottom, some propulsion, and it wants to go up, and they're going to let it go up. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is the tank. This is straight from NASA. Now watch. The camera moves, shows you the window. Okay. That's the window on the space shuttle. Okay. Right? That's done on purpose to show you the curve of the Earth and show you the window. Okay. What's wrong with this picture?
Who's running the camera?
Well, one of the astronauts. And he said the shuttle has already gone around the world once. It's going up higher, and it still sees the external tank falling down. Now, even if it didn't do a lap around the Earth, and they're making how are they seeing that 20,000-pound metal tank? It would be gone. It would just be gone. Okay, you guys have seen this, right? People say I've shown Globers. This is you can see the curve of the Earth, but where's all the land? And they'll make an excuse. Well, you're in the middle of the ocean, and blah 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 blah. Well, this is just showing you how easily you can be fooled because this was filmed in our front yard with a solar panel. Okay, because now look, is that what do we look at? Is that a sphere? It kind of looks however you want it to look. All right.
Yeah.
So this thing's falling. Right? But he's still able to film it. And he's going up at 17,000 plus miles an hour. That thing's free falling. Is that free falling or is that floating?
Yeah, it's floating.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait,
you have to believe that this thing's going to fall so fast before it gets to those clouds, it's going to atomize and disappear. Okay? This is Felix Baumgartner from the Red Bull jump. Watch how fast he falls. He's gone. Okay, gone. Right? This thing weighs a little more than Felix. Okay, and it's just floating. Now watch right over here. I think this is the one. We're gonna see a little tissue float by. Ready? Is this the one? Maybe this isn't the one. Oh, here it is. I got a different one. Right?
I was gonna say it's like a blunt.
So they're filming this on the way up. Use your God-given common sense. This is floating. This is like a runaway Macy's Day Parade balloon. Now watch.
Right.
5 seconds, you're going to see a tissue go over here, which is going to give you some context to how fast this is moving. Right? I don't know where the tissue came from, but it's a tissue, or maybe there it goes. See it?
Yeah, we saw it. There it is.
So let me just go back. So that shows you that this is floating in a breeze. If it was falling, it would be falling at hundreds of miles per hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? It's floating.
Crazy.
It's floating.
Right.
Crazier is we caught something. Okay. Ready? Where is it? Let's fast forward and save a little time. Okay. We caught something, an anomaly in the photo, and we're like, what the hell is that? Here it comes. Let me a little farther. Hold on. Is this the one? maybe it's another video. Hold on. I got to find it. This is worth it. This is really good.
Sure.
Where did it go?
So these helium, blimps or whatever, like, do they eventually just, do they have something within them that kind of explodes?
Well,
I
I think it gets recovered. And I'm trying to show you, we have a video of the recovery vehicle. Where did it go? I've lost it. Oh, maybe it's up here. That's not it. One more second. Where'd it go?
So what do I know we're looking for that, but what do you think about SpaceX?
Yeah. Well,
That's kind of,
so let me, I'm sure you guys watch all my stuff, but I'll show you my favorite SpaceX video.
We actually had a friend just text in saying that she'd love to know more about the Space Force testing or trying to break the firmament. Have you heard of?
you mean SpaceX?
This says Space Force, but maybe it was SpaceX. I don't know. Maybe she meant SpaceX.
Maybe she's talking about Project Fishbowl and Project Dominic, right? Project Fishbowl is when they were sending bombs, supposedly nuclear bombs, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole, and blowing them up, and it was showing it was hitting something up top.
Yes.
And then also Project Dominic. So Fishbowl and Dominic is of the, excuse me, of the Lord. So, Fishbowl of the Lord. Interesting name.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm upset I can't find that video to show you the recovery, but
yeah.
it's on the app under the balloon rockets section.
Okay.
We'll look at that.
Fascinating. SpaceX. Hold on, there we go. So
there is something there. I think there was something just there, but I don't know if that was it. But
anomaly in the clouds.
I slow it down. It would show it again if I did it. It would be right over here.
The cigar.
I have one that breaks it down. It's I wonder what the heck is happening. Hold on. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. So here it is. All right. So we're going and could be this one. Okay, here it is. So we're going, and all of a sudden we see this. Like, what is that? Okay, this is slowed down.
Yeah.
What is that? Right? And it's some sort of camouflaging of some sort of quadcopter. To me, it looks like some sort of aircraft, right? So I'm rotating it. Here it is again. So here this thing's falling, and we see this thing frame.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Hold on, and I'm gonna make it a little better. So boost the contrast, and you could really see it now. What is that? Okay. NASA immediately pulled down this footage after this aired. Okay. What is? I think it's some sort of recovery vehicle. No, I don't know. Maybe it was towing it. Maybe it goes to pick it up. Maybe
Wow.
No one's going to see that. Everyone's below the clouds. They're not going to see anything. Right?
Right.
So they take this thing, deflate it, roll it up, pack it up and get it ready for next Thanksgiving. All right?
That's crazy. That's interesting.
All right. So speaking of clouds, I got a question, something that's hard for me. Or do you still have something else you're going to show here for SpaceX?
Don't forget your question. But here is an Elon Musk actual test flight. Okay. Now notice, just like NASA, edit. Now look how slow this thing is. This little flame is lifting this multi-ton phallic symbol up in the air. We got this far shot, then a close shot, right? But now use your mind here. This is kind of underneath it, but we can see the side. Ooh, now look how high it is. Now look how low it is. Now the engines are already turning off. How high is that? Oh, it's very high now. But when you see the ground shot, how high is that? It can't be high because we're seeing the side. The higher you go, you're not going to see the side, right? Now look at look at the smoke. Look how slow the smoke is going. So use that. Say, how fast is this thing going? I don't know, 10 miles an hour maybe? It's falling. This is supposedly free falling. Now watch when it edits. Now look how slow the smoke is going. 5 miles an hour? 2 miles an hour? Okay. Now look how high it is all of a sudden. Right? I cut out some pieces, but I didn't take anything out of order. Okay. And so now this thing is free falling, and now it's up so high. Like, how would you even film the side of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's free falling. And now 3 engines are going to turn on. Cameraman's going to get underneath it after an edit. 2 of the engines are going to turn off. So now it's got one lopsided engine. Look. And this little flame is going to land it with a whole bunch of CGI smoke. Ready? Coming down. Cue the smoke. Okay.
It's just like.
And what does it look like? Okay.
It really, to me, it looks even more fake than some of the NASA stuff. And that's why I'm like, so there's no way Elon doesn't know that. I mean, there's just no way.
Well, you can tell it's real because it looks so
complete,
fake.
total MK Ultra mind numbed, puppet.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is. I go back, but he, his thing with the car, it looks so fake. You can tell it's real, right? You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, right? Space station, 240 miles up. This is what curve they sometimes say. His car, 170 miles up, sees the whole globe. Okay.
Yeah.
People, like you play the song Rocket Man and you spin it around, you have some reflections, and which is stuff they easily do in real time. But there's so many glitches in this. I'm like, are they doing that on purpose, or did they try to do this live and they had some glitches? Just like 9/11 today, September 11th. I believe that the third fake plane was supposed to fake hit Building 7, but something went wrong in the simulation. They had to fake crash it in Pennsylvania, and they still had to take down the building. Okay? Things happen. I don't think they did that on purpose.
Interesting. Okay. I never thought of it like that. But yeah, so crazy. I mean, I've thought about the fake planes. I'm not saying that, but I didn't know how they were justifying Building 7.
On my website, flatearthdave.com, scroll down, and there's a big banner with a whole bunch of faces of Elon Musk on it. 5-minute video. Then you'll know about him.
Oh, he a clown? They got him. They got him. Okay. But so we do have some questions though about, we get it, but there are questions about
some things it's hard for me to reconcile in my brain. So I'm driving to work in the morning or driving home in the evening, and the sun is shining as it's receding away from us, but it's shining underneath the bottom. It's hitting the bottom of clouds underneath. So if the sun is, try to get in here, if the sun is up here and the clouds are here, how is the sun shining up under here?
So I'm going to give you a little lesson on perspective, and then I'm going to show you another picture that's going to make you stop wondering about that. How's that sound?
Cool.
Okay. So, excuse me. So here we go. Not that one. We're going to do it with this one. All right. So have you guys seen this yet?
Yeah.
You've seen this?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen this part of, and I also went to art school, so I do understand
so
a lot about.
Let's do it real quick. Your guy is at eye length, at eye height. You put this mountain. This mountain is how high over his eye line? Thousands of feet.
Yeah.
Thousands of feet. So now we have the sun. It just starts going away. Now, here's the question. Is that sun below the horizon if we lived on a ball? Or is it just beyond the mountain that's over his eye level?
At that point, it's just beyond the mountain.
On the mountain. So now let's imagine that mountain is moved into the distance, right? So the mountain is there. I didn't lower it. I just brought it due to perspective, right? I can now see wider, fill in the foreground. This line right here is the top of the mountain. This line is thousands of feet above his eye level.
Mm-hmm.
But to him, it looks like it's at eye level. Then the sun just goes away, and it's going beyond the mountain, just like it did before. It's beyond it. But he thinks it's below his eye level because this is at his eye level, but this is not at his eye level. This is thousands of feet above his eye level.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll add clouds in there. And now you have an atmospheric deck, with or without clouds, because the atmosphere becomes opaque over distance. But with clouds, those clouds are all merging. These clouds over here are the same height as these clouds, which are thousands of feet above the top of that mountain. And the sun is above all of that. Okay. Right. So now the sun is just going away. As it goes away, it looks like it's going below this horizon, this cloud horizon, which is thousands of feet higher than the mountain, which is thousands of feet higher than his eye level. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's how perspective works. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you don't know what's higher or lower when you're looking at things in the distance, right? You don't know what's higher or lower. So now, where do I have that image? So on the app,
I mean, but the sun is higher than the clouds.
Well, yes, it is. We can say that for sure. Most of the time. Sometimes the sun looks like it's right in the clouds. I think the sun that we see is relative to our own position, and on certain weather conditions, in certain situations, the sun, I don't know where the sun is. You know, you've seen the picture of the sun in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just pull that up real quick. This one right here, right? So
right.
I don't know, man. Is that 93 million miles away, or is that around the clouds? Okay.
Come on now.
Right.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. I'm not claiming that the sun is in the clouds. I'm claiming that we see the sun in a relative position to our own. That's a whole nother thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. We don't know. We don't know what's going on here. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, there it is. So here's a shot that I took in Mexico where the sun is setting below all of these clouds. Mm-hmm. Below these clouds. How come the sun on top of those clouds?
Because it's actually above the clouds.
Because it's above it. So according to Globers, when they say the sun is lighting up the bottom of the clouds because it's below the earth, right? Well, why isn't it lighting them up here? Because it's a clear shot to the bottom of those clouds from this point of view, right? Mm-hmm. So that shows you right there that the whole sun shining up on the bottom of clouds is complete and total nonsense, right? And if you go on the app to the web button page and you go to debunking the debunkers, right? And you scroll down, there's a whole bunch of videos right here. All of these videos right here are explaining about the sun under clouds, and they've completely destroyed that argument. That's why any current globe troll doesn't even use that argument anymore because it's been destroyed. But most people don't, not most people, lots of people, new people, newbies like you guys, may not have understand that yet. So once you understand it, put it this way, there are no arguments that aren't fallacious on the globe side. All of them are. Don't be afraid of anything they throw at you. They might throw you something and go, damn, that's a good question. But there's a fantastic answer. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's all here. And I encourage you to watch these, and you'll see.
Yeah, we love that app. We've that was kind of, we got the app immediately right after we crossed over, and we just would spend many hours watching all the videos. So I have a quick question, and because sometimes you just get a lot of information and sometimes you just don't retain it. But isn't like the moon or the sun like measurable miles up? Like, are we able to like, I mean,
Yeah, shouldn't we
like,
be able to measure how far
They
up they are?
I
they,
feel
they
like,
measure the moon, you know, or measure the sun, the distance and the size. Well, how do they do it? And if that's true, then the moon is the same because they appear the same size, right?
Mhm.
They do the same thing. So there must be the same size. But then, Globers don't have an answer for that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So unless you know the size or distance to something, you don't know much else about it. And the only thing
Right.
you can say about all of the luminaries in the sky, sun, moon, and stars, the only truthful thing you can say is their lights. That's it.
Right.
They are,
Yeah.
what they are, how far they are, you don't know who put them there, you know how long they've been there. You don't know anything other than where they're going to be, which is interesting. But and they tell us that these stars are, massive suns and quadrillions of miles away. When if you actually do the math, which nobody does, you can prove that that would be unseeable.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
want you to believe, when something gets away, it gets smaller and smaller. Every time you double the distance, it's a quarter of the size. They want you to believe that in space, a giant sun, going down. I'm sitting on a bubble. So, um, um, a giant sun, 1,000 times bigger than our sun or a million times bigger than our sun, that at a point, as it's going away, it'll get smaller, smaller, smaller until it's star size. And then no matter how far away you put it, it stays the same size, stays the same brightness. Okay? That's ridiculous.
Mhm. Mhm.
Inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance of something, it's one quarter of the brightness. Every time you get
Right.
way closer to something, it's four times brighter.
Mhm.
Okay? That would make the moon at 100 miles away from the moon be like 60 times brighter than the sun that we see from Earth. In order for us to see the moon at 1 lumen, just if it was 1 lumen on a full moon on a clear night, it would have to be 60 times brighter than the sun when you're 100 miles away. Sorry, not buying it.
And isn't the sun supposed to give the moon its light?
Well, the
Isn't that what we were taught?
sun is reflecting off the moon, but when have you seen a dusty, dirty ball reflect
Right.
reflect sunlight, right?
Not that bright.
And
I
and
mean,
Everything reflects light or we wouldn't see it,
here
but
uh,
not that bright.
reflecting off of, I'll argue, a shinier cement ball, more reflective, and I'm not a quarter of a million miles away. I'm very close to it, so it should be even brighter. How come this isn't casting light? How come it? How come
Mhm.
you know it, the sun's off to the side a little bit, but there's a specular highlight also. How come this is
mm,
evenly lit, edge to edge?
oh
Right,
yeah. Mhm.
right. How that
Right.
doesn't work. And when you have a single light on a ball, there's a specular highlight.
Right. So there disproves that, which, we
Right.
yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, this makes more sense to me. Not that I could ever explain the heliocentric model or whatever we were supposedly on before, but this just makes so much more sense. I know some people, and this is an argument we hear a lot, like when, oh well, what about the other planets? That gets brought up a lot when we start to talk to people about, us, when we believe the Earth is not, a globe.
What is
How
this?
do you what's that?
That a real picture of Jupiter, or I made one that I made with paint? Come on,
I'd say I
guess
don't.
it's not real.
Yeah, I'm going with the
real picture.
arts and crafts for you.
How about this? Real picture of Jupiter's moon, or something I made with a rock?
I don't know. I'm going with something you made. I don't know. I'm
Real picture from NASA. How about this?
NASA.
From a
Yeah,
frying pan or a moon?
yeah.
Which one?
Frying pan.
Oh, moon. Okay. A ceiling fan photoshopped into a picture of Jupiter, or a satellite orbiting Jupiter?
I'm going with satellite on this one. I feel pretty confident about that. How about you?
Satellite.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's just it's crazy. And then when you look,
Latest
with the different.
there.
Go ahead.
These are from NASA. Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? This is from NASA. This picture right here. Okay? And people
Yeah. Beautiful pic.
believe it.
Beautiful artistry.
This. I tried to look at
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sure there's somebody, screwing somebody in here or something crazy. Okay. It looks a little,
Yeah.
but this is
Yeah.
NASA's latest photo. No, they never use photo. Image of Jupiter.
Yes.
Image.
So for people that, and I've heard you talk about this. So some people are like, fine, whatever. What's the big deal? Fine. We've been, I still, like you said, I still got to get up tomorrow. I still got bills to pay. Like, to me, it's like,
we'll get there.
It's freedom.
Well, it totally is. And if you don't get it, you're literally in the movie Plato's allegory of the cave. Okay. So you see this shot of Jupiter, right? Recent picture of Jupiter, right? Does it look familiar? Is it Jupiter or is it?
Oh, I know this one. I've seen this one.
Okay. How about you? Jupiter or Mars? Here's your false.
Jupiter.
This is a false binary. You pick something when in fact it's just a meadow of ducks.
Okay? Yeah.
Meadow ducks. All right.
Wow.
So this is how easy the mind is fooled.
Yeah.
Right. So when people are asking about other planets, you're like, what planets? Right. NASA, made this beautiful image of Jupiter for some reason. Right. This guy, and then you take that and you put it in a dark room. Here's the photo from 2014, 2016. They said, we just found out that Jupiter has a magnetic core like Earth because we could see the northern lights. Look at this.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
I could have, if I said NASA or me and you said me, I'd be insulted because I would do it.
Yeah.
All the other details are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing changed. See the little cloud line, everything except this is a little darker, and that fools people. Okay.
Yep.
But meanwhile, they show us a video of Jupiter where all the clouds are moving just over a period of a day. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You see these new planets that NASA showed us this week? Which one is a real image of a planet from NASA?
If I were to guess, bottom left.
Okay. None of them. They're all frying pans. Okay. They're all the bottoms of frying pans.
Nice.
Okay. So again, they give you these false binaries. Is it this or is it this? It's neither of those. Okay. It's neither. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's what I find out too is that when you discuss this with people will find one thing that is a stickler, and they'll ignore everything else, but they will
everything else.
Like, if you can't explain this, then I can't believe it. So I've got a friend, and he's a great guy at work. And he's like, you can't explain a lunar eclipse on a flat Earth.
Oh, you can't
lunar eclipse.
You can't explain a lunar eclipse on a globe Earth, right? So this,
brother, let's see it.
This is how you get them. This is called the Seleninian eclipse, right? It's when an observer, when you have a lunar eclipse, you have a full moon and the sun. So the sun goes down, the moon comes up, and you have the eclipse. But the eclipse happens because the Earth is in line with the sun and the moon. So the observer can't have the sun and the moon both above the horizon, right? Because the Earth is not in between them yet. But many eclipses happen where the moon and the sun are both above, and the eclipse comes in from the top. Wait a minute. If the Earth is below, the eclipse should come in from the bottom. It's called the eclipse. You know what NASA calls it also? The impossible eclipse. The impossible eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
It's been documented for 50 times. Okay. So that rules out the Earth as being the cause of that. And also, take a basketball on a sunny day, put it on the ground, and look at the shadow. It's got a nice shadow below it. Then lift it up 10 feet in the air. Tell me if you can see the shadow. Tell me if there's a sharp edge to that shadow. How is the edge of the Earth shadow going to make a sharp line like that, or pretty sharp, on the moon, 250,000 miles away?
Wow, that's good.
The shadow disperses. You know, if the sun's going down and you have a wall, get 50 feet from the wall. See if you can even get that shadow to show up at all. You can't. It won't work. Doesn't work that way, right? And then, so also on the app, there's tons of eclipse videos there. Did you guys ever see my my video showing the solar eclipse, the projection solar eclipse?
Projected one, yeah.
Yeah,
I have.
Good.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we saw one eclipse where there was like all these other like there were other, it seemed like the orbs or whatever. That's interesting.
Those are good. Those are good.
Kind of makes you wonder, like.
Yeah, there's other things, dark bodies up there. Who knows? What is this? So I don't know what this is. Let's discover together. There's a lot of people filming this second sun. Like, this was during the fires, the smoke. And this is kind of like my projected eclipse, where when in the right conditions, when the sun's not blinding you, you can see the source of the sun. I believe that's the actual source of the sun that we're seeing. This is the sun that we see projected onto our sky screen, I call it.
Do you believe the source is outside the firmament?
When you say outside, I mean like outside of a glass dome or within the glass?
I would, or either, just on the other side of whatever.
I don't know. Maybe there's layers. Maybe the firmament, I had a NASA whistleblower that said at about 62 miles, excuse me, at about 62 miles up, it becomes like plasma, and then it gets thicker and thicker, and then water, and then solid. Now, I don't know how far that is. Is it 10 miles?
Wow.
I don't know.
Right.
And so is the source of the sun within that? I don't know. I mean, maybe the Bible tells you. I don't know.
Well, there's the lesser light to govern the night, which is the moon, which puts off the cool light. So that's just interesting too, which if it was supposed to be reflecting the sun, why would it put out a cool light?
Right. And this is my sky sheet. Now this could be the source sun. And then its projection is here. So the source sun's behind this. And this is the sun that we see. Right? This is the sun that we see. And we all see it in a different position. Like if you were in my room and you were, 5 feet to the left, you would see it 5 feet to the left. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
no,
I don't know, man.
Can you do one quick thing for us before I know we're just about out of time, because some people are going to watch this who are brand new.
Yeah.
Can you show the model of the flat Earth with that kind of shows how the seasons work, the way the sun and the moon rotate and how the seasons work?
So this is one I've been trying to look for a way to explain this better, where people can understand it. So in the heliocentric model, do you know how seasons work?
It's supposed to be because of the tilt of the Earth.
So
that's 66.6 degrees.
Oh yeah, of course. So here's America, and here's the sun. And when I'm tilted away, it's winter. When I'm tilted towards, we have much more direct rays. Okay. Right. So that's summer. During our summer, where the sun's 3.5 million miles farther from us than during our winter, but it's the tilt that okay. Now, what determines the tilt? You have the the axis, and so the equator is level with my face, but then I tilt it. Okay, so that's the tilt. What if I put the axis over here on the sides? Can I tilt it this way? Sure. Doesn't matter because my face was the sun. I'm still tilting it away. So here's the United States pointing right at me.
Mhm.
Summer, winter, summer. Okay. Now I'm going to tilt it away. Winter, summer, winter, summer. No difference. You with me?
Mhm.
No
Yep.
Mhm.
difference whatsoever. So I'm in Connecticut. In June, when I see the sun on the horizon, I could say that's the farthest it's possibly could be tilted away from the sun. But when I see the sun on the horizon in the morning, I can feel the heat on my face. I feel the heat. And in December at noon, when the sun is high in the sky for that day, like 50 degrees off the horizon, I can't
Mhm.
even feel the heat on my face. And it's 3.5 million miles closer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
The
Right.
the seasons absolutely prove that that the earth is flat. They absolutely prove it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find the animation that you were looking for. Um I guess I can just show you on the app. Um, where is it? Here we go. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. So you have the
Mhm.
outer ring, which is the Tropic of Capricorn
Mhm.
for Australia, and we have the
Mhm.
inner ring, Tropic of Cancer. The sun migrates every 6 months out and 6 months in, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
We have our summer when the sun is in. But right now, the sun is migrating towards the Tropic of Cancer. So right now we're in September, October, November, December. So in December, the sun is all the way out here on the Tropic of Capricorn. I'm in Connecticut right here. The sun is far away
Mhm.
from me, just like a street light far away. It's lower in the sky. And I can't feel the heat because it's far away. Okay.
Mhm.
It's summertime in December in South America. It's winter time in Connecticut. It's super cold up
Yep.
here because the farther you are away from the heat source, the colder it is.
Mhm.
It's summer in Australia because the sun's going to go right over them. Now, when the sun's right here, I can call my friend PK and say, "Hey, where's the sun and what time is it?" He'll be like, "It's right over my house and it's noon." Okay,
Mhm.
boom, right at noon in Sydney, Australia. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's how seasons work, right? And a simple experiment you could do is two people sitting outside in the winter. We sit 20 feet apart so we don't infect each other with the new variants. And
Mhm.
freezing. It's freezing cold. Doing a really cold night. And then somebody comes over with a heat lamp, holds it 15 feet over your head, big heat lamp. And you're like, oh, that feels fantastic. You take off your coat. And I'm looking at that heat lamp. It's 20 feet away from me. And I'm cold. I'm so
Mhm.
cold. Like, I'm looking, I can't feel the heat, right? Now it's 15 feet over your head. And I go, where is that light? And you're like, oh, it's right above me, close, high. And I'm like, well, I see it down low and far. Okay. I can't feel the heat. Now that person walks over to me, keeping exactly 15 feet off the ground. I'll watch it get higher and higher and higher and higher until it's above me. That's my summer sun. Warm. You're cold. It's lower in your sky. It's higher in my sky. It's a
Mhm.
simple model.
Mhm.
Simple. And it works.
Yep.
Test it. And the fact that you can wrap your mind around the idea that if we have seasons because of the tilt, that we're tilted away from the sun, then mornings would be super cold all year long, especially in June, especially because
Mhm.
farther from the sun.
Mm. Yep.
On the app, seasons
Yep.
that are frequently asked questions, all the good videos there. One called The Sun Explained. That one's very good. Shows you how it all
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's been a great tool.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have you,
I mean,
can I show you what's coming next on the app?
Yes,
yes.
please.
So this is coming very soon. Um, this is the profile section, and it's going to be a lot like Facebook. You can, customize it, images, has all your information. Um, You can search for other friends. You can search by keyword. I could type in real estate broker, Florida. And hey, I found a real estate broker in Florida that's a flat earther because I want to move to Florida, whatever. You can find, like, hey, I'm looking for kite surfers in Connecticut. Boom, kite surfing.
Yeah.
And it'll pull up everything in your profile.
Nice.
You can have your friends list, and you can load pictures on your wall.
It's like Facebook for flat earthers.
But you can put videos on there, all sorts of stuff. And then you can friend people. And then once this is up and running, the game section is going to go, and you're going to be able to play games with other friends.
Oh, cool.
Like online, like a concentration game that's actually really good for slowing your mind down. You know how our minds are crazy going? When I play that game, it's the old concentration game where you flip over tiles trying to match them.
Yeah.
You literally, it's the only time I'm not thinking about 7 things at once. I'm focused on the game. When I'm done, I'm like, oh, that felt really good. It's actually really fun to do before you meditate because it literally brings you right down into a meditative state.
Okay.
But so this is going to be super fun for people.
Very cool.
And it does all sorts of stuff.
That's great. That's great. I mean, we appreciate what you're doing and just waking us up and just your dedication to just keeping spreading the word and making it easy for us to learn about this. I mean, the app really has been a game changer for us waking up.
The app? Have you used the friend finder?
We've gone on there. I don't think we've actually reached out and touched someone.
When I'm like away or somewhere, I always look to see if there's other flat earthers around. And hey, there's a whole bunch of flat earthers in this restaurant over here. Now I'll go over there. Right?
Oh my gosh!
Like you're traveling around. Let's say I'm in New York City, God forbid, and I was like, let's get something to eat. I could look for people around me, see if there's anyone in the bar, or I could search New York City restaurant, and anyone that has that in their profile, I'll like, oh, this person owns this restaurant or works in this restaurant. Then you go and you meet.
That's cool.
And so you could tap on any dot and find anybody, message them, send them a picture, become friends. It's a great way to meet people, right? And you can radius message, like if you want to do a meetup, you can say, all right, I have 50 kilometers, send a message to everyone. Hey, we're having a meetup at this place Saturday at 4 p.m. And then we did it. We had 75 people show up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Then there's you can go into the chat area, and you have your private chats, you have your group chats, and you can do video calls. People are like jumping on video calls all the time. It's fantastic. And you just meet these random people and have great conversations. You haven't done that, have you?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't explored that part of the app yet.
Like if I go into the beta test group, if I just hit the video button, it'll start a video call, and anybody in this group, there's 66 people, can jump on the call, and you just have great conversations.
Very cool.
Right.
Wow.
Excellent.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. If you were not doing this, what would you be doing? Like, I feel like this is you are so passionate about getting the word out. Like, would there be anything else you'd be doing if this were not? Well,
I had an amazing business that I started with a couple partners, and was doing very well. And it's just, I realized how important this message is to get out, especially in this crazy time we live in. And I really couldn't live with myself if I wasn't doing this. So I walked away from the American dream to do this. But you know what? I'm happier.
Yeah,
that's great. That's great. Well, we appreciate. We're glad you did, because we're here today, and I know a lot of people are on this app because of you. And we appreciate you.
We just almost at 115,000 on the friend finder, and that number is going to go up dramatically very soon.
Right.
So
yeah. Well, thanks for coming on and chatting with us, and we appreciate it. I mean,
it's been a blast.
Yeah, it really has. We really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Welcome to Flat Earth. And
yes,
a little secret thing. Never leave. It's like the mafia. You can't leave.
Oh,
but
you
know what?
We don't want to.
You can't even be kicked out because you can't stop thinking about it, because it affects every day of your life. Where do you guys, what state are you in?
Georgia.
You're in Georgia.
9/11
9/11 was a big deal, but not as big a deal as it was for me. I'm right next to New York City, right?
Sure.
Afterwards, I went to Ohio. They almost didn't even know about it. Not quite, but they were like, it was so distant to them. And then if you go to Europe or to Africa or somewhere else, they don't even care about it.
Right.
So
Sure.
there's all of this stuff going on all over the world, everywhere. You have all of these hoaxes going on. You got New York, you got Boston Marathon, you got all of this stuff. And people forget about it. People that aren't right there don't care, right? You have interest for a certain amount of time, but everybody that wakes up to flat Earth every day for the rest of their life, they're stuck.
Yeah.
They think that flat Earth is like the biggest. Was it Greg Reese that said it, or Eddie Bravo? He said when they realized the Earth was flat, it was kind of depressed. He was like, because that's the last time my mind will ever be blown that hard. But that's not true. It's absolutely.
Okay. Uh-oh.
More.
There's more. Well, listen, there's two places we definitely want to go to explore. First, we want to try to get out of that ice wall, if there's any way. I mean, I'm sure many people have tried. And then I want to go to the true North Pole. I'd love to check that out.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe we could talk off air, see if you got anybody interested. No, I mean, there's some stuff floating around, but I just would love to go and see it.
If you think about this,
Yeah.
let anyone go to the North Pole or far enough south, we would discover that the Earth is not a globe, period. Right? We know this for a fact.
Right. Sure.
So if the word gets out, solid proof, and wakes up the world, they lose their control over humanity. Because when people find out that we're at the center of creation, that we have God-given free will, that there's unlimited resources, that there's free energy, all of this stuff, all the governments in the world will fall. Okay. So when I say governments, I mean ruling families. Okay. Because it's not governments.
Yeah.
Government is just a facade for the ruling families. Right. So they know that this is the lie that keeps them in power. So then they say, hey, Max and Jennifer and Dave Weiss are going to the South Pole. They've got the money. They've got the whole thing. They're going. You think they're going to go, damn, they got us. No,
Yeah.
there's no way. What's going to happen is we're going to disappear. They're going to go, some crazy flat earthers cost taxpayers millions of dollars, in their stupid efforts to find the ice wall and jump off the edge, right? They'll say something like, so
yeah,
it's not, we don't need to go there to prove the earth is flat. We need to prove it's flat to make all of these control systems dissolve and then get, free reign of this world, right? Because we're being slaves right now.
I agree. And then, the best slaves or prisoners are those that don't even know they're in the prison. So we're
the ball is a prison for our mind. Right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Absolutely. And anyway, we could dive, but we know you're a busy guy, and we appreciate you coming on today and sharing everything. And we'll have to do this again maybe sometime.
Are you guys coming to Flattoberfest in October?
Oh, we didn't know. What is that?
I haven't heard of it.
Right, flatearthdave.com. There's a link right there. Flattoberfest. It's in Las Vegas, October 20 and 21.
Ooh, I think I've got something then, but okay. Oh my good. Now, is it only in Vegas? Like, do you do this every year, or is this just like something new? Talk to me.
Normally in Greensboro, South Carolina, but this is
that's closer.
Went to Vegas because it's national now. Easier for people on the West Coast and other countries to get.
Yeah,
but it's going to be amazing if you get away for 3-4 days. You got to. So the link.
No, we would.
flatearthdave.com. Just check out the banner, Flattoberfest. Check it out. Maybe you'll take time. It'll be a blast.
Yeah. I bet it will. That'd be great. Yeah, it'd be great to kind of hang with some like-minded flat earthers.
That's the whole thing. Just being around so many like-minded people. We got these big banners. Win $3,000 in casino chips. All just come up with one proof we live on a globe. No purchase necessary. Play as many times as you like.
Yes, I love it.
Right.
I love it. That's great. That's awesome. Well, yeah. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll stay in touch for sure. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
I appreciate it.